I thought we actually got off to not a bad start. We just couldn't make a shot early. I thought we got into a good rhythm. We were able to take a lead in the first half, but we did not end the half well, especially on the defensive end. From the under 4-minute timeout on, they scored every possession and finished on a 9-0 run. I thought we made a couple of adjustments in the second half with our defense. We were able to defensive rebound, force some tough shots, which enabled us to get out in transition and get some easy baskets. And I thought we did a heck of a job of executing against their zone. For us, for our 2-point guards to have 15 assists and only 2 turnovers was big time. For Femi to have, as a freshman, 8 assists and no turnovers against this zone was huge. Xavier, 7 assists and only 2 turnovers. I thought the guy that really got us started was Aldis. His energy, the plays that he was making, offensive rebounding, and he did an outstanding job defensively against Buddy. And then obviously, Ithiel making shots, that's something that we have a lot of confidence in, in him shooting the basketball, and he got into a good rhythm doing that. And then obviously it was great to have Justin back. We kind of knew for the past few days that he was going to be able to play. He's been able to practice. He's been chomping at the bit. I knew that if he was able to play, I was going to start him. Didn't know how many minutes, but he's done a heck of a job of working, of doing everything he can to get back from this moment. When you are dealing with an injury, you have to have 2 things. You have to have a really, really good training staff, and we have that. And then you have to have a really, really good patient, a patient that's hungry. And with Justin, we have that. So he's been chomping at the bit to play, and he was able to do that, and he was magnificent today. So, any questions?
Jeff, with the way that you saw, your team struggle the last time to start off against Syracuse, against the zone, but like you said, you were getting open shots early on. What were the conversations that you had on the court when you were trying to just keep your team together in those moments, and then you eventually see the offensive breakout happen?
Keep moving the basketball, keep having player movement, keep ball faking, and keep taking shots. We have confidence in you. Be strong and be confident. And the other thing we talked about is look, let's turn our defense, defensive rebounding and things like that. Let's get out of transition. And let's get the ball to Xavier and the rest of you guys run. Earlier in the game, for whatever reason, we would get defensive rebounds and throw the ball to Ithiel. We don't want to do that. We want to get the ball to X, or if Femi's in the game. If those 2 are together, you can get it to either one of those 2 guys. But these other guys need to be finishers. And I thought we did it. We made that adjustment and did a good job there.
Jeff, did anything Justin did out there, and just the way that he looked, did anything about his performance surprise you at all?
With him, not really. I mean, maybe how many minutes he played, maybe the fact that, I kept asking him, are you okay? Are you tired? Are you tired? And he's laughing, no. And so maybe that, but, he's a unique kid. In the fact, he's got great genes, and that he's been able to heal quickly. He's had 2, tough injuries since he's been here, and both times he's been able to heal very fast. And so, but when he's out there, maybe the fact that he trusted it, when you have an injury, especially with a lower extremity, one of the biggest things is trusting it. He's done that in practice, but you don't know how a guy is going to be when the lights come on. And obviously he trusted it fully today.
Jeff, what's your reaction when you're watching some of those highlight reel plays and his combination of IQ and athleticism?
Some of the shots that he makes, especially some of those left-handed shots, you're just kind of, I don't know, he made one today and I just shook my head because I actually thought it was a bad shot. But, he's got really good touch around the basket and in the mid-range area. And, again, he's got a long way to go to become the player that we think he can be, but he's on the right path of doing it. And I think he's hungry and he wants to do it.
Jeff, sorry if I missed this earlier, but how many practices did Justin get in before the game? And then separately, what did you like about how your team handled the zone?
Yeah, he practiced full for the first time, I think Saturday. where like content, where he like, we just, the doctors and the trainer just turned him loose to see how he was. And then we had all Sunday, but he came in and did some individual work and got some treatment. And then, so I would say Saturday was the first time where he did contact. He was doing some stuff in practice, like our shooting drills, 5-on-0, like some of the non-contact stuff. And then we gradually started to introduce him to contact. So Saturday was probably the first full practice that he had.
Jeff, you had, you talked about that little defensive struggles at the end of the first half. In the second half, you went up 11, and then they came right back with, I think it was an 8-0 run. But it seemed like the third time you got up, it was different. You guys played better with the lead. What changed the third time you went up big there?
Yeah. Alan, I'll come back to that. Danny, I didn't answer the second part of your question. How did we attack the zone so well? We were able to penetrate it. We were able to get it to the middle. Guys in the middle had poise, they made good decisions. And then we made threes. I mean, that spreads the zone out when you're able to make threes. Alan, to your question, we had that 11-point lead and we were in transition and we tried to lob and we missed it. Where, it's from that situation, one little simple bounce pass, you lay it, it's 13, maybe you don't have to get it to 3. We know they're a good team. And with their ability to shoot the basketball from 3, they're scary because they can get hot. Boeheim, Griffin, Gerard, Guerrier. And so I was really proud of how we responded in that situation when they cut it to 3. We got back to get the stops, and then we were able to get out in transition. We found, kind of an action that we run and we had some success with against their zone, and we just kept doing it over and over.
Coach, on defense, you guys held Buddy Boeheim and Joe Girard scoreless from 3, and they really struggled all game to get any clean shots off. What was your plan to shut those guards down?
Well, one of the main things was to put Audis on Boeheim. And one of the things we talked about is that we're not switching. He's got him. He's not going to switch unless it's an absolute emergency and he calls it. I think Audis, his first 2 years here, I think he's been one of the better defenders in our league, and he's a versatile defender. And I hope people start to realize that, that he is, because he's having an outstanding year on both sides of the floor. And then with Gerard, we wanted to pressure him. And then, to have an awareness for him. We knew coming in conference play, even though it's not a large amount, but he was shooting 47% from the 3. And then we wanted to attack him. We wanted to make him guard in that zone. We wanted to screen him. We wanted to try to penetrate him. To do that, and then they set him for a while in the second half, so that helped us too.
Jeff, when were you, I guess when were you or anyone on your staff first notified about John being the subject of a potential criminal investigation?
Yeah, I'm not able to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that. I'll talk about our game and our win and our next opponent if anyone wants to ask about that.
Jeff, can you describe some of the emotions that you felt being back on the floor for the first time in a while after a long layoff?
Yeah, it was exciting. I mean, I felt this, I was nervous, leading up to it. This morning, there were nerves, there was excitement, it was anxious. When I'm sitting back here before the game, it's nerves, all those different things. And it was a little bit weird because I haven't coached a game in here. Because I didn't coach when we played Louisville. And so I haven't coached a game in here, I think, since Gardner-Webb. And I think that was like December the 12th. And so just kind of getting my bearings back here for a game. But it was exciting. We were anxious to play against someone, and hopefully as we go forward, we were able to get these games in.
Jeff, I'm sure it's happened in the past, but have you ever seen in all the years in the ACC a team score almost 100 against Syracuse's zone?
Well, Carolina did the other day. I think they had 81. I think that's what Carolina had. Not that I can recall off the top of my head, no.
Jeff, Ezeel Horton had another strong game shooting. This is his third of his last 4 games where he's hit at least 4 3-pointers. What can you say about his progress? You talked early in the season when he was struggling that he just has to keep shooting through it, and now he's doing just that.
Yeah, he's got to take good shots. He's got to have shot preparation. He's got to believe in it. Our guys have a lot of confidence in him, and they're looking for him. And with the penetration that we had from Xavier, with Femi, he's been able to get some clean looks, and we have a lot of confidence in him knocking those down.
Jeff, I know you said you don't want to talk.
Available for you guys today, or was there something about the about the way the game was going or the matchup that you didn't like?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part of your question.
Oh, sorry. Was Nike available for?
Yeah, he was available to play. He was available. It's just he didn't get into the game. We got into a rhythm, and I went with the guys that were playing well in that moment. And but he's important for us. He'll be big for us, but he was available.